Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Who has a story?
Yes.
Okay. You took a story already, Punch. Who goes BC? Go ahead.
I took a story. So the emergency responders on Monday, they rescued 136 Euro-bound African migrants. So off the edge of the Canary Island. The AFP reports, so they said every day Spain Coast Guard usually have to rescue a boat full of dozens of African migrants towards the Canary Island off the northwest coast of Africa, and that the island government has been pleading for help. So they're asking that Mauritania, the Gambia, and Senegal, which are the three countries in the migration crisis, should do better. It is not known what the incentives that they would offer to Mauritania, and which is the main departure point, which he visited 6 months ago. But they've explained to their government that this is causing major issues. They have currently over 200,000 people in Mauritania waiting to go to the Canaries Island, and this is causing major challenge on their end. They said in the end, Europe would have to, they'll pressure Europe to take on some of these people from Spain and not just the Canary Island alone. I think some of them are our own people. When you see the picture, it just looks, you feel very, very sad that why are we doing this? But thankfully, there are no accounts of loss of lives on this particular people that they are rescuing, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, I have the filling stations. So they say many filling stations operated by the independent oil marketers have now fixed pump prices of PMS, that's petrol, between 900 and 1,000 naira a litre. They said that the owners of these stations do not care about the cost of the product at retail outlets operated by NNPC. So NNPC stations, the prices range from 568 to 617 naira per litre. And because of this difference, there's a lot of queues at the NNPC stations. So, of course, Nigerians are concerned. Why is there such a disparity in price? Some of the independent oil marketers claim that they are buying their petrol from private depot owners for as high as 850 naira per litre since last week. And that's why their own pump prices are high. But we have a spokesperson for NMPDRA. He says, see, this does not make sense. That because we all you get your petrol from NNPC, and there's a price that it comes. They sit down, they look at it, and look at the margins that you should sell your prices at. And they also go to these stations to also confirm, and they're supposed to confirm the prices that they are being sold. So this story of we are buying it higher does not really make sense. And from the prices that they see, it looks like maybe they are putting a different price. They're telling them these regulators a different price and actually selling at a different price to consumers. So they're saying that they're going to shut down fuel stations that are giving arbitrary prices. So we'll see how that works.
Congratulations to Aso Ighodalo as the coast was cleared to him. The Court of Appeal in Abuja cleared the coast for him to participate in the 21st of September governorship election happening in Edo State. There is now a valid candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The appellate court set aside the July 4th judgment of Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which had nullified the February 22nd, 2024 governorship primary that produced Ighodalo as PDP candidate. There was a back and forth on the fact that about 378 delegates were absent, but it was eventually nullified, and now the course is clear for him to participate in the September elections coming up. Wishing all the candidates the best in the elections. Moving on now to Vanguard. Outrage as federal government pegs age for writing WASI at 18 years. Floods kill 49 in Jigawa, Adamawa, Taraba, displaced thousands. Picture story here of Owolabi Salis at North Pole and South Pole. Will implement state police, say Ondo Rivers Jigawa governors. Separate office from AGF from the AGFG, that's Attorney General Federation. Global Union others decry worsening rights abuse in Nigeria. Nigeria records 166,000 barrels per day below budget benchmark, says report. And Tinubu appoints Mohammed as DG NIA and Ajayi as DG DSS. Okay, which story?
So the governors of Ondo, Rivers and Jigawa states yesterday reiterated their commitment to the formation of state police as part of key measures to tackle insecurity in their domain. The three governors gave the commitment while speaking at a breakout section on state policing. They said at the ongoing Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, annual general conference in Lagos. And in their remarks, that's according to Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State, he expressed optimism that the creation of state police will address security challenges, bedeviling the country. He also stated that state security outfits, which had successfully helped to check insecurity in all parts of Ondo, that's the Amoteco core now, was a reflection of the state policing, which remained the best option to tackle insecurity across the country. He said, I am proud to say that Amoteco has delivered. It has brought a measure of peace and security to our people, a peace that had long been elusive. He said this is a homegrown initiative which has demonstrated that if we trust in our communities and empower them, give them responsibility, give them resources to secure lives and properties, they can achieve remarkable results. So he also talked about the synergy between Amoteco and other security agencies, and he was saying that they're not saying that the way the constitution is, Nigeria is actually supposed to be a federation, and a state police, that's not just him saying this now, but the other governors as well, that a state police would also complement a federal police. They're not saying strike out federal police. The federal police will have their own jurisdiction, the state policing will have their own jurisdiction, and all the excuses that people have been giving that the governors will take advantage of it, they will abuse the power. He said you cannot deny the people of what is needed because there will be an abuse of power, that everything across all strata is being abused as we speak. So, but we must do the right thing to ensure that lives and properties of Nigerians are protected across states.
Picture story here. Man, US-based Nigerian lawyer and accountant, High Chief Owolabi Salis, has undertaken trips to South Pole and North Pole. His South Pole trip was back in December 2023, and then it took him quite a few months, July 2024, to get to the North Pole, and obviously he's the first Nigerian to be able to do both. And that's good news. I mean, it's for him to the good feat to accomplish at that stage in life.
Yes, I have a story of floods. The National Emergency Management Authority, that's NEMA, says that no fewer than 49 persons have been killed and thousands displaced in Nigeria after heavy rains caused flooding in the northeast of the country. So we're talking Jigawa, Adama, and Taraba. They said they've been hit hard by floods with 41,344 people displaced. In 2022, they said Nigeria experienced the worst flood in more than a decade, and that killed more than 600 people, displaced around 1.4 million, and destroyed 440,000 hectares of farmland. I mean, we remember that situation. It was really sad. And so now we're entering the peak of the season, and they say particularly the northern part of the country. They said so far the floods have destroyed farmlands, affecting around 693 hectares of agricultural land. And this has really affected the prices for food. So that's why we're also seeing high prices of food. So apart from the flooding, we also have insecurity, as a lot of farmers are deserting, their farmlands because of the militants that have been attacking them. So this is really just an outlook of what has been happening and what they're expecting. So prognosis is not positive again this year. They're expecting that there will be floods, and so it would affect farmlands, and
So there's a good and bad news concerning our oil production. First is the good news, which is that there's been an improvement, month-on-month improvement in our oil production. From we are now currently between June and July, there's been improvement in our oil production in terms of 1.5 million per barrel to 1.534 million per barrel. So million barrel per day. However, as compared to our expected output, which was what was put in the budget for 2024, what the budget benchmark was that we'll be having 1.7 million barrels per day as our output, and right now we have a shortfall of 166 barrels per day, which amounts to 13,050 based on current oil prices and based on the international market. Also, OPEC is saying that as compared to last year, there is a bit of improvement, because last year what we're putting out was 1.1 million barrels per day, and then now we have 1.5 million barrels per day. NNPC is attributing this to renewed battle against oil theft, saying that there's a whole lot going on, the release of audited reports and all of that. But this is saying, the long and short of this is, the good side is it has improved, But the bad side, it is still falling below what we have projected in our budget. So we don't have enough money to fulfill what the budget requires.
The Nigerian Tribune, the Patriots step up, move to a new Nigeria constitution. Tinubu removes Bichi, appoints Ajayi as new DSS DG. Police arrest 11 as masked men in NDLEA military uniform hijack multi-million naira tramadol in Lagos. Resident doctors begin 7-day strike. AMCON intensifies recovery efforts and lists international asset tracers. And residents of Plateau, Zamfara, and Niger mining communities live in fear over constant bandits attack. But let me take the major headlines. So a group called the Patriots, whose chairman is Chief Emeka Anyoku, who we know was the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations. They had inaugurated a 17-member committee for an advocacy, right, to set up to liaise with members of the public and also with the National Assembly on how we can have a new constitution. According to Chief Anyoku, the way things are today in Nigeria, the current situation of things is an ample opportunity for the country to have a democratic and true federal constitution. According to him, he noted that as a pluralistic country that we have, other countries who have been in our shoes have taken the same steps. So countries like India, Canada, that they operate true federalism, pointing out that the current situation is an opportunity for us to actually take those steps where there are independent federal states that come together to make that federation. And he was there with other members of the group. We have Professor Anya, among others. Also, there's the Chief Solomon, Asemota, SAN, quite a number of others who are in that committee who are out to see what they can do. And they call themselves the Patriot, trying to see how we can have a new constitution for the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So the health sector has a bit of challenge, caused major issues yesterday, especially in the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. The National Association of Resident Doctors have decided to go on a strike. It's a 7-day warning strike. There will be no emergency care all through, and this is in protest of the fact that Dr. Ganiyat Popoola, who was kidnapped 8 months ago, she's still being held captive. They said that she was kidnapped with her husband and her nephew. She is an ophthalmologist. She's a senior registrar at the Department of Ophthalmology, National Eye Center in Kaduna. The abduction took place in November last year, which is 8 months now, and they haven't released her. They've released her husband and a nephew, but she remains in captivity. And the doctors they did an online meeting to say that they want to go on strike to pressure the government to do whatever it takes to release this particular doctor back into secular. She should be released back. Many of the patients have suffered though, because those that had appointments yesterday all of those who had appointments didn't get treated because there were no resident doctors on ground to attend to them. And we all know that majority of Nigerians rely on the public hospitals to get health care. So we pray that the police and the security, the entire national security agency are able to put their heads together to secure the release of Dr. Popoola. I do not think strike might be the right option because of the people that will be dying to secure her release, but can we see?
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. Short break.
Hot news.
When we come back, we continue with our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.